In the early years of the 20th century, Wallace D. Wattles sat down to write The Science of Getting Rich, not as a fantasy about luck or greed, but as a spiritual and practical manual for prosperity. His message was revolutionary for its time. Wealth is not a matter of chance or privilege, but a predictable result of thinking and acting in a certain way. He believed that riches follow laws just as surely as gravity governs the physical world. The book begins by arguing that there is nothing shameful about wanting to be rich. To live fully, one must have access to the material means of expression, comfort, art, travel, and generosity, and therefore wealth is simply life seeking fuller expression through you. Wattles introduces what he calls the certain way, a disciplined mental approach that unites thought, purpose, and gratitude. The universe, he says, is made of a thinking substance that responds to our thoughts. When you hold a clear and unwavering vision of what you want, you impress that vision upon this formless substance, setting invisible forces into motion. The error most people make, he warns, is thinking in opposition to their desires, focusing on lack instead of abundance. The mind that dwells on poverty cannot attract riches any more than a shadow can produce light. To make this law practical, Wattles insists that thought alone is not enough. You must act upon your vision. Thinking in the certain way without acting in the certain way is like planting a seed but never watering it. He urges readers to perform every action, no matter how small, efficiently and excellently. If you are a clerk, a teacher, or a laborer, do your work as though you already are the wealthy person you intend to become. Each task should be infused with purpose and energy, because excellence magnetizes opportunity. Wattles rejects the idea that getting rich requires taking from others. The universe is not a pie to be divided but an ocean of inexhaustible substance. He writes that no one becomes poor because another becomes rich. In fact, true wealth creation expands the possibilities for everyone. The person who creates value by serving others in greater measure naturally receives greater compensation. In this view, commerce becomes a sacred exchange rather than a competition for scarcity. The author also places great emphasis on gratitude, calling it the key that keeps the connection between your mind and the formless substance alive. Gratitude aligns your thoughts with abundance, preventing fear and doubt from taking root. By giving thanks for what you already have, and for what is on its way, you keep yourself in harmony with the creative power that brings your desires into form. A grateful heart, he says, cannot coexist with envy or complaint. In the narrative sense, Wattles portrays the process of wealth building as a quiet but heroic journey of faith. Imagine an inventor who sees, in her mind, a machine that does not yet exist. She knows what it will look like, what it will accomplish, and how it will serve humanity. Though no one else sees it, she acts as if it were already real. Step by step, through calm confidence and unwavering purpose, she brings the invisible into visibility. That, says Wattles, is the science of getting rich. He cautions that hesitation, fear, and impatience are the great enemies of progress. The universe responds not to frantic effort but to steady conviction. A person who rushes, worries, or doubts interrupts the creative process, much as a gardener who keeps digging up the seed ruins the growth. The wise builder keeps working, trusting that the invisible forces are aligning circumstances, people, and resources to deliver the result at the right time. Wattles's world is deeply moral. He demands that the seeker of wealth never act unfairly, never exploit, never manipulate. To live richly is to live rightly. True riches include health, joy, and the power to contribute to others' lives. A person who becomes rich in harmony with the principles of the book inevitably uplifts everyone around them. Wealth is not hoarded, it circulates like blood in a healthy body. He also reminds the reader that imagination is the workshop of all riches. Every invention, every great business, every work of art began as an idea held with faith. The imagination should be disciplined and directed, not left to drift in idle fantasy. When you visualize your desired state vividly and consistently, you are preparing your mind to recognize opportunities that align with your vision. Life itself begins to organize around your mental blueprint. One of Wattles's most enduring lessons is that you do not need to wait for better conditions. There is no ideal moment or perfect starting point. Begin where you are. Use what you have. Do all that you can do today, and do it well. Each day, act in faith that your goal is already on its way. The act of beginning creates momentum, momentum draws new resources and allies. In this way, the small stream of effort becomes a river of achievement. He further teaches that wealth should not be pursued for mere display or vanity, but for growth and expression. Money, in his philosophy, is not an end but a tool. It allows the artist to paint, the builder to construct, the parent to educate, the dreamer to serve. When wealth becomes a channel for creativity and generosity, it multiplies in your life, because you are aligned with the universe's own impulse to create more life. Throughout the book, Wattles' language carries both the rhythm of scripture and the logic of science. He writes with calm certainty, as though describing a law of physics rather than a mystical hope. His conviction is contagious. You sense that if you truly adopted his way of thinking, the boundaries between you and your dreams would dissolve. This confidence is the essence of the certain way, to know, not merely believe, that your desire will manifest. He also confronts the social and psychological barriers that keep people small. Many are taught to associate wealth with greed or guilt, to see poverty as virtuous. Wattles dismantles this notion with compassion and clarity. Poverty serves no one, he says, it robs both the individual and society of creativity and progress. The more individuals who prosper rightly, the more abundant the world becomes. By the time the reader reaches the final chapters, the message is unmistakable. The science of getting rich is not about accumulating money for its own sake, but about aligning oneself with the universal principle of creation. To think truthfully, to act faithfully, to live gratefully, these are not moral instructions alone, they are practical technologies for success. The universe, according to Wattles, is eager to express more life through you. And when you finish the book, something subtle shifts. You begin to look at your own thoughts as tools of creation. You start to notice how each action, done with intention, moves the needle of your destiny. You see that getting rich is not about chasing money, but about expanding into your fullest potential. Wattles leaves you with a quiet certainty that abundance is your natural state, and the moment you begin to think and act in a certain way, the universe starts arranging itself in your favor.